This is First Contact, Stories of the Call Center.
Once you've made that decision, though, you've said, this is what I want to do. You made that acquisition. Any tips on what a leader would have to go through to be able to merge that new acquisition into your culture, your process, and technology? Because I can't imagine that being easy.
So it's actually not terribly hard unless, and this happened to me not too long ago, unless you have an acquisition of a company that just is so, their culture is so foreign to yours that it's just not a good fit. I can say that I've only really screwed up from a cultural fit and integration 5 or 6 times. I'm laughing because, it does happen, right? So a lot of for the most part, though, integrations are easy. They're easy because people in the call center business tend to be nice. They tend to be relatively honest. They tend to be relatively down to earth. Right. And we've been in this business a long time. When you call me an industry veteran, that still makes me feel weird because, I didn't even get into the business until my, 30s, until I was 37. So suddenly I'm an industry veteran, and I used to walk around thinking nobody knew me. So, it's funny that way, but I acquired a company that thought it was completely white glove service. And it was white glove service, but it was white glove service, but it had pricing, that just didn't match the service levels that they wanted to give and were giving. So they were struggling. And then they lost accounts because they weren't big enough to compete for the accounts that they really wanted. So they really struggled. The other times that I have really had problems, and I would say that a big gotcha, is when the acquired company or the company you're acquiring has a lot of homegrown technology that is being supported by one person or another person. Okay. It's that probably the 2 biggest mistakes that I ever made was buying companies that had homegrown technologies that I didn't get my arms around fast enough, or that I didn't embrace the technologist who built it in a way that would move the technology over to me. So I'd say that is understanding the technologies you're acquiring and how they'll fit into your environment is probably the most difficult. And then culture is a little less difficult. I'll tell you what happened. It's a funny story. Back in the mid-2000s, we had just grown, and we've been growing. And I looked at myself, and Christian, you and I have known each other for a while. And what you don't know about me, you've heard from reputation. I think of myself as a pretty down to earth guy. A guy who tries to make people feel at ease. And I didn't start with a whole bunch. So, I always think of myself as the guy in the streets, working really hard for the clients to make them happy. So I do an acquisition, and I stand in front of the team and that we just acquired. And I said, we are just like you, only a little bigger. We're mom, pop shop. But what I forgot was that we had just grown so quickly that we had a session, and I went from having 7 employee handbooks to 1. I went from having little or no processes to having significant processes. 3 months after that acquisition, the general manager of that business came to me and goes, "You lied to us." There's a lot of things you can say to me. Calling me a liar is never one that fits well with me, because my integrity is something that I take great pride in. And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You told us you were just like us. You have processes." And so one of the things that I have really focused on as we've grown is not becoming a bureaucratic nightmare. And it's about being approachable. I had a buddy of mine who stood up at a conference and once said that CEOs today have to be approachable, have to be, and I live that. Everybody knows how to find me on social media. Everybody knows I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on YouTube and I'm on, Twitter. And so making myself as accessible as possible has been a good way that I have successfully integrated. The real key is making sure that leadership and you are aligned. In most acquisitions that I have seen, the reason they fail when they fail is because the leadership of the acquired company never buys into the leadership of the acquirer, and therefore they undermine the company going in. And I've seen it happen many, 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 many times. There was a big roll up in the industry done by a real smart guy. He had success, and I don't want to, he's now dead, and I don't want to speak badly of him. But the problem was he kept all the old owners in his company as part of his roll up. And they were all doing things for their own personal benefits that were contrary to what the company needed. And he didn't have processes in place to stop it. And it just took the company down.